Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 178. Looks like I got some toothpaste on my chin. Good morning. Back to work Monday. We had some football games, the championship games on Sunday. Watched both games. I was rooting for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, even though I live in Wisconsin. I'm a Chicago sports fan. Bears, not Packers. So I was rooting for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. I do think he is the greatest of all time, and I'm glad to see the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. The second game, I was torn. Bills and Chiefs, and I kept going back and forth. Like when I was a kid, when the Bills were making their Super Bowl runs in the early 90s, I was like a pseudo Bills fan. Like I wasn't a Buffalo Bills football fan, but I always rooted for them in the Super Bowl every year because I hated the Cowboys. One year they played the Giants, and it started when they played the Giants. We had a family friend who was from Buffalo. And I think my mom said, well, who's playing in the Super Bowl? And I said, New York and Buffalo. And at first she goes, well, we'll root for New York because Father Herbach is from Buffalo. Oh, wait, Buffalo's in the Super Bowl. Let's root for the Bills. So rooted for the Bills against the Redskins and against the Cowboys. And I think they played the Cowboys twice, maybe. I can't remember. But I do remember Giants, Redskins, Cowboys. So I love Patrick Mahomes. He's so fun to watch. Watching Tyreek Hill yesterday was like Barry Sanders 2.0, like some of the runs that he was making. So I started like, wow, I want to see another Chiefs game. I want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And then at the end of the game, the Bills got really chippy and dirty. And then I really wanted the Chiefs. I mean, it was already in the bag at that point, but it was like, I'm glad the Chiefs are winning. So Chiefs Buccaneers will be fun. Looking forward to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Ken, good morning. So today I don't have much on my mind. I did receive PWE on Saturday. So I just opened it up this morning. So now cross out the name, but so this PWE was sent with a I think the butterfly is the 70-cent non-machinable and then a 20-cent George Washington stamp. So I think this is 90 cents in postage. I'm not sure. When I send PWE, I keep it to like under 1 ounce, like 5 cards or less, in a, with 55 cents of postage. By the way, postage rates did go up. It kind of varied. I had a lot of people asking me how much. It varies. It's not like a set rate, especially with like the regions. So what I noticed was the first, Dan, good morning. The first bubble mailer I shipped out yesterday morning was to it's like Indiana, which is in my region, but some like Wisconsin is like even cheaper. So like to Indiana, it used to be $274 for 3 ounce bubble mailer. But to Wisconsin, it was like $268 or $266, something. It was like a nickel cheaper in my own state, but within my region, it was like $274. So I noticed it was $303 shipping from Wisconsin to Indiana. So those rates did go up. So just be aware if you're shipping some stuff out. So Zach, good morning. Zach's thrilled with the outcome. It's what Porter wanted. Awesome. Chiefs are his second team, and we wanted a hosting Super Bowl team to finally occur. Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, and that's part of the reason, Zach, why I wanted the Bill. I was torn because I have some friends and social media friends that are Bills fans. So and like Chiefs as well. So this PWE came from Jeff in Michigan. Now Jeff's a frequent PWE trader with me. He's up in Michigan. He's a Tigers fan. So he picked up a couple more boxes. has 20 Cubs here. So 20 Cubs in a PWE. So we've got some, I think Dan mentioned Doug DeCenzo yesterday. There's a Doug DeCenzo leaf. So this looks like a 9-page pocket going PWE. And this is pretty common with, I know a lot of bloggers that do PWE trades. They'll send the 9 pocket pages, PWE non-machinable, and doesn't need any protection. Now, I wouldn't be sending like 20 valuable cards, but if they're Leaf Commons, Fleer Ultra Commons, Junk Wax, perfectly fine to slip, 20 cards, 9 pocket page into a white envelope, put that non-machinable stamp on there, and should be good to go. I personally don't do that, but it can be done, and I've received several of these with no damage whatsoever to the cards. They're not torn up, so it's definitely, if you want to trade like a small amount, 20 cards, 25 cards. I think the most, somebody sent me like 36 cards in a PWE. So Dan says, didn't realize you can send big stuff at a PWE like that. Yeah, if you put the non-machinable, now you would not be able to get away with just a standard 55-cent stamp. It does have to go non-machinable. And he put the non-machinable plus a 20-cent stamp on there. So the butterfly kin confirmed is the non-machinable. Those were 70 cents, I think. And I'm not sure if that, somebody else asked me on Twitter this morning if that changed. I don't know. USPS.com will have like the changes in rates. I was just kind of watching what I was shipping. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, so I just went with it. I did check like the flat rate boxes and what the postage went. The flat rate boxes, they might have increased, but it wasn't too much. I think the flat rate for large is like $19.35. Now it's going to be like $21 at the desk, but if you're using PayPal or Pirate Ship or eBay, it's going to be cheaper. Brad, what's up? Good morning. Hey, Brad, how are you feeling? We've been worried about you. Oh, you're still sick. Oh, that sucks. Sorry, man. Herman, good morning. So the flat rate, the mediums, I think are like $13, $13.50, somewhere in that range. So there wasn't much of an increase. So the increases in postage, which took effect yesterday, are very similar to what we saw during the holidays, during November, December, when they had the holiday increase. And it was only like a month. They increased it for the holidays. We received the worst USPS service in the history of the post office, and they give it to us with an increase. They bring it back down to the regular rates, and then boom, 3 weeks later, we're seeing an increase again. So Brad will be live on his channel, Texas Card Dude, after me. So awesome. I'm going to be wrapping up here. Because I don't really have anything else to talk about. So 20 more Cubs added to the collection. I don't have an updated. I'm creeping close to 529,000 Cubs cards. I'm at like 528, 600, 700, somewhere in there. I'll have to look real quick. It's on my my Twitter. I'm going to look right now. 528, 794 plus 20. So what's that? 528, 814 on the Cubs count. So I do have a trade in the works. Actually, I've got in another bulk trade came about over the weekend from somebody I met at the National. He's a vendor, and I think he's in North Dakota. So we've been texting back and forth, and he has about 15,000 Cubs cards that he wants to trade. If you do know of anybody, I've kind of run out on bulk team traders. So if anybody knows any more, I've got actually 2 vendors that set up at the National and some of the Chicago shows that are, asking me about other, people collecting massive amounts of cards like I do. Steve is out in Cleveland. He's always looking for stuff. what I'm going to be sending him when my plan is to go out there in the summer. I'm going to take out a whole bunch of football cards. The last one we did, he was looking for certain teams, but I'm not sure. But if you know of anybody, shoot me like a DM on Twitter or something, or email me, because these guys are looking for some big, like bulk, like 10,000 cards in that range. And I think Nathan, who reached out to me over the weekend, I think he's looking for more selling than trading, but he might be looking for trades. So Dan picked up 13 Menkos. What's a Menko? Pony Express was better, right? When I get done, you'll have all my Cubs. Does StreamYard have an app? I don't know. I've never used StreamYard. The only time I've used StreamYard is when I was with you guys on Saturday night, and maybe one or two other shows. I've never played around with it. Herman says no. Oh yeah, Herman. Their Monday night rips, they're on StreamYard. So the other big bulk trade coming up a week from Friday. Oh, Menkos are vintage Japanese cards. Oh, pretty cool. Nice. I've got a big bulk trade coming up a week from Friday. My buddy David, who's down in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, he's got a bunch. He's got about, I think, 16,000. Matt's with us. Good morning, Matt. So that's going to be about a 16,000. I'm just buying those outright, about a half a penny a card, somewhere in that range. So he's got an appointment or something up here in Madison. So just meet up with him and add 16,000. So that's kind of what my goal was for 2020, was focusing on the bigger bulk trades. And that's kind of, and also bulking up the eBay store, which I did. And now here in 2021, the goal was first quarter, focusing on eBay sales, and then, hoping to fill in that bigger goal for the number 700,000 by the end of the year, with the big bulk trades and the volume. So hopefully we can do that, get back to normal this year, and get some of those big bulk trades finished up. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, it was a lot of fun with George and Dan on Saturday night. The Ernie Banks rookie in the Pearl Jam story, that was like, when he sent me that package, it was kind of a surprise. A little more backstory on that. He reached out to me, Michael did, on Twitter, and said, "Hey, I've got a package for you." And it actually sat on my counter. I had like 6 or 8 packages, and it sat on my counter unopened for like 3 or 4 days. And hey, I got your box. I haven't opened it up yet. And I started flipping through the contents, and he sent more than that card. It was about, probably 50 cards. And and it was more than the Ernie Banks. Like there was other vintage in there too from his dad's collection. And then I got to the Ernie Banks, and I'm like, this looks real. And it was. And so he wrote me a letter, and there's a blog post about it. And I asked if I could share the letter on my blog, and he said that was cool. And so he, wrote the story about it. So that was definitely a highlight of 2020. Was the story and the background behind the Ernie Banks card. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So it is on display on my, if you've seen like pictures of my rec room, I have like that bobblehead, a lot of bobbleheads on the shelves. So I have a few of like my super vintage, like the pre-war cards, like the old Judge. So I have those on the shelf, and that's where I display the Banks rookie. I think I may do, I thought about sending it into like SGC just to get it authenticated. But I think I want to keep it raw as is, because, it was part of his dad's like childhood collection. So I think I want to do like a shadow box and maybe like a like in memoriam piece. I don't even know Michael, never met him outside of, corresponding on Twitter. But I just think, the story behind it is too special, that I just don't want to slab it. Like I want to display it and make it really, a personal touch in like a shadow box with maybe like in memoriam to Michael's dad, and like maybe a picture of his father in like a display piece. So not sure what I'm going to do with that. I have a lot of like stuff like that I want to put on display. I've got like 3 or 4 like pieces of Cubs art that I picked up over the last year and a half that I need framed. The Rick Russell, Paul Russell Big League Brothers ball, I want to put that into a display case. The Banks. So there's some projects in the future. Dan says, when you got all of us in here, you should stay for another 20 minutes. Yeah, sometimes I run out of things to talk about, and I don't want you guys to have to look at me. Brad must have missed the story. Got to go back. Yeah, I shared that story on Saturday night with George and Dan. So check that out. I'm not sure what we talked 2 hours, and it was so much fun. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, the 1 Million Cubs Museum. Yeah, I like it. So I'm sorry, Dan. I don't really have anything. Mondays are super slow because I like share all of my weekend stuff on like Sunday morning, and I really don't do much other than like ship on Sunday. I watch football and ship eBay sales, and that's kind of what my Sunday entails. So I don't really have much to share, other than the only thing I did yesterday was we had just enough snow on Saturday night. We got probably 3 inches, maybe 2 inches, 3 inches. It was just enough. It was just enough to run the snowblower. So I always go out and check, and I kind of kick the snow around, and do I shovel? Do I snow blow? And if it's a super dry snow, I'll just push it with the shovel. If it's a small amount like that, but if it's a wetter snow, then I'll run the snow blower. It's kind of in the middle. It wasn't super dry, but it wasn't, wet either. So I did run this. It was perfect. It was like the perfect amount to run the snow blower. So Zach has a topic. Is anyone getting into the Hall of Fame this year? My answer, my opinion is no. So typically most of the public ballots have been released, and they now trickle in. And I think the announcement is it tonight or tomorrow? The announcement's this week, where they unveil the class, which I think is going to be 0. Curt Schilling, like right now, if you don't follow Not Mr. Tibbs on Twitter, he's an awesome follow, Ryan Thibodeau, and he does the Hall of Fame tracker. So the last tweet I saw of his, with like the current standings of the ballots that we know, Curt Schilling was just shy of 75%. Now, there were also a lot of writers that wanted to retract their bids because of what Schilling has recently said about, I think, the Capitol stuff. Curt Schilling has been like outspoken and very controversial for a long time. I'm not a fan of Curt Schilling's beliefs, personal beliefs. But when it comes to the Hall of Fame voting, and I'm not for the retractions. Now, character is one of the Hall of Fame like criteria. Like, you're voting on not just this person as a player, but off the field and character as well. So Curt Schilling's been Curt Schilling. Like, he is who he is, and it hasn't changed in the last, the voting was in the last month. I think the deadline to vote was postmarked by December 31st. He hasn't changed in the last 25 days. He's always been this Curt Schilling. So I am not for the bid retractions. I think they and I don't know if the hall has like ruled on this, but I guess there was a pretty big contingent that wanted to retract their Schilling votes. If you don't want him in, like tough, you voted for him before December 31st. Your vote's standing, binding. If he doesn't get in, don't vote for him next year. I think next year might be his last year on the ballot anyway. So Brad says February 1st. Okay. So that's what, Friday or Monday? Friday or Monday. It's coming up. It's close, within a week. So I don't think anybody, the public ballots also favor those guys like Schilling, Clemens, Bonds, public ballots. And this is historically speaking, unless a bunch of the private ballot voters change their mind, which I doubt they do. So they would have needed, like, with the public ballots that we know now, they would have to be on like 80% to make up for not being on so many of the private ballots. And they're only at like 70%. If that even. I know they were in like the high 60s. And if you follow the like who's added and lost votes, like they're like net zero basically. I think Clemens may have lost a vote, and Bonds is like no change from the voters that we know of. So they would have had to gain in the public ballots. So I do not think anybody's going to be elected on this ballot. Aloha, Mr. Hand on Twitter and YouTube. Some amazing Sox memorabilia. Oh, very cool. Yeah, Ty Cobb was yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's a part of it, but is it followed to a T? Absolutely not. It's kind of it's kind of in there, and the voters can like use it at their discretion. Like, yeah, it's character, but look what he did on the field. It's one of those that, yeah. January 26th. Oh, okay. So tomorrow night. Awesome. Schilling has been Curt. Ty Cobb wasn't a gentleman either. Most importantly, Bonds and Clemens need to get in. I'm totally with you. And with Ken's, comment, I'm more of it's a baseball thing. I mean, outside of like something terrible, like Curt Schilling is kind of like abrasive because of his opinions. He's not a criminal. Like Omar Vizquel has some stuff going around. If that is true and he's convicted of anything, then I think that's definitely a criteria that, yeah, we shouldn't let, guys, domestic abuse, anything like that, criminal activity. I think, you shouldn't be. But, as far as like Schilling's outspoken opinions, I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, Bonds and Clemens, I think should definitely be in. The Pete Rose debate, I've always been like Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, but he made a deal. Like, didn't he make a deal like saying, yes, like I'll stay out of baseball? And now he wants back in. So I'm just kind of like, the Pete Rose story, the saga is just kind of old to me, and I don't care anymore. Like, a few years ago, I was still like, yeah, Pete Rose should be in, Pete Rose should be in. And now it's just kind of like, it is what it is. Any electees will be inducted during Hall of Fame weekend, Sunday, July 25th. Yeah, 70%. So it's very unlikely that they'll get in, being at 70% right now, because they would need, a pretty high percent to make up for that. And it's historically with the voters that are, private, it doesn't happen. drew a blank. I had something on my mind and I completely drew a blank. So yeah, and I don't know. I'll have to look. There's different committees, so it may not be like a zero class, because there's committees that meet and elect. But I don't know if there's any this year or if those would have those committees I think might meet and decide before the ballot. So it might be a zero class altogether. So I think I've gone long enough because it's almost 7:45 and Brad's coming up on the Texas Card Dude channel. So check him out. I'm going to run 1millioncubs.com is the website. I am going to do a blog. I'm going to try my best at a video. I had 3 eBay messages over the weekend about variation listings and people asking me how I do that. 3 messages. I couldn't believe it. So I'm going to try my hand at a YouTube video showing the process of listing multiple cards in one listing using the variation feature. So I'm going to try that tonight, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned for that. So thanks for tuning in, Brad. Check him out. He's on the Texas Card Dude channel coming up in a few minutes. Have a great Monday. Back tomorrow.